we're glad to have you back at State Sunrise on Salt Television. And like we did tell you that we're going to be having the talking point segment, and this is that time where we have interaction with some of the government's appointees and those who are working for Ebonyi State government, our individuals who tell us what is happening in Ebonyi and how things are going on to ensure that citizens do really enjoy the dividends of democracy. So today we are going to be having, we're having Dr. Steve Odo in the house. He's the DG, Ebonyi State Small and Medium Enterprise, and a state focal person on the ease of doing business. And we'll be looking at promoting ease of doing business in Ebonyi State. Sir, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, our viewers.
All right. It's, of course, Amaka is still here in the studio with me, shining as always. Sir, when we talk about ease of doing business, you know, we can't stop talking about it because a lot of people, Ebonyi is one state that is still quite young and people are interested in coming to Ebonyi. But there's always this gap, or what I might consider as a lacuna between those who are coming and information that they need to help them start up, especially if they are a startup, or those who are already doing one thing or the other in other states and want to bring it into Ebonyi State. This information gap, what is it? What is your what are you doing to bridge that gap? Because we get a lot of that complaint that people are not well informed on what they need to do to be able to do business in Ebonyi State.
Okay, let me thank you for providing this opportunity for us to look at, especially what the government is doing to promote the ease of doing business in the states. I would rather say that it's not just that people are not well informed, but people are wrongly informed. Because a lot of people, especially our senior friends in the state who claim to be friends of government, indirectly indict the state for whatever selfish purpose they want to achieve. Because if you look at most of the Facebook write-ups concerning Ebonyi, you find out that it is our people who are discouraging others from coming to Ebonyi. Just to make people believe that the government in power is not doing well. And these are almost the trademark of politicians. People go under the cloak of trying to, you know, do one or two things on Facebook and indirectly telling the people that, oh, it's not safe, the government is not doing this, the government is not doing that. And these are people who should be encouraging others. And without knowing that most times, if you destroy your family, the negative impact will also affect you as a member of that family. Ebonyi is a family, especially an economic family, and if we are doing well, if there is an inflow of investment and foreign direct investment into the state, everybody starts to gain, including those who think they are not part of government. Because if the economy is doing well, you go to the market, you see a lot of opportunities, a lot of things you are going to enjoy. Your brother or sister will also get employed. So first of all, for me to call on Ebonyans, especially those who are exposed, to do everything to, give Ebonyi a positive, image. It is very important. That being said, the question is, what is actually Ebonyi doing? Like in the Ease of Doing Business Council, the Ease of Doing Business Council is chaired by His Excellency the Deputy Governor. I think that is an important information for the public to know, that there is a council inaugurated by His Excellency the Governor to consider all aspects of promotion of the business environment. That has not been there since the creation of the state. So that's a plus for this government. What it also means that with a council chaired by a deputy governor, if you have a complaint about how things are done, then there is, you now have a platform you can approach. You could write to His Excellency the Deputy Governor as chairman of the Ease of Doing Business Council and lay your complaints. If you also have proposals, good proposals, like most of our friends who believe they are working for the state, instead of using the Facebook, you could take the first step. I shared with one of my friends that if I'm interested in what you are doing, if I want to advise you, good friends don't advise their friends in the market. You advise your friends, privately in the first place. Even scripturally, the Bible says if anybody has offended you, first of all, go to the person. When you've gone to the person, you take a second person to the person. It is only when the person has refused all those approaches that you now begin to go public. But you find out that somebody who is an Ebonyi person will tell you that he has a good initiative. And the first place you're advising the government or doing anything is on Facebook page. When you have a structure, when you have a ministry you could approach, when you have a governor who is listening. So That is one of the things I expect that our people should be able to have a mindset.
Do you think that could be because, sorry to cut you short.
Go ahead.
But do you think that could be because of access? I mean.
No, and that is why I'm citing it now that there is a council chaired by the deputy governor. It does not. No. No, the council is everywhere. Let me tell you. For instance, if you give my office and you come with a mail, no government office will reject a mail. Even if you go to the governor's office and go to those who are handling mails, you submit the mail, and I'm sure it will get to the governor. If it is deputy governor, you get to the deputy governor's office. There are people who...
But there have been in stories and even people that we have had to talk to on air that they have followed these procedures, and yet it was made difficult for them to have access even to the deputy governor or the governor.
No, it is a different thing that you go and feel fine, I want to see the deputy governor. If you want to see the...
We're talking about people submitting mails.
Okay, let me make a proposal. At least nobody could say that you come to my office, and as a focal person now, for those who are interested in promoting business, growth and ease of doing business, please bring your mail, bring your proposal, bring your ideas through my office, and it will get to whoever you want it to get to.
Address, please.
Star Development Center. Star Development Center is where my office is, and I can assure you that if you have any proposal of what you think we should do to contribute to the improvement of business environment, submit through me to get to whatever ministry or to whatever commission you want it to get to, because you are helping us if you are actually objective and sincere. And one other aspect is that when people write most times, even on Facebook, you see people critique the government from A to Z, and there are no proposals of solutions. Nobody is suggesting what should be done. You always say this is wrong. In fact, I am a teacher, and I believe that when I assess students at the postgraduate level, if I'm telling you this is wrong, I should be telling you that this is the right thing. But like some also in the institution, you see somebody will take your script with red ink everywhere. You are making the student more confused, because the student has written all the things that he knows how to write, and you are saying they are all wrong. This is wrong. This is this is ambiguous. If it's ambiguous, show him the one that is not, that lacks ambiguity, and so on and so forth. So it is just like in every assessment. If you are assessing anybody, whether you are assessing government, you are assessing an individual, you should be able to raise your issues. That's agreed, but you should be able to show a way out to make things better.
All right, thank you so very much, sir. We agree with you on that part, right? We're not asking that you do not criticize. We're asking that you criticize
constructively, yes.
All right, and then let us know areas of improvement. How we can improve. All right, so let's talk about, because what we are here is what government is doing to improve ease of doing business in Ebonyi State. And some entrepreneurs, especially the ones who are still struggling to get a foothold, still complain, not really complain, have challenges with registration, taxes, and approval. Let's have the concrete steps that EBBC has taken to simplify this process of starting, running, and sustaining businesses in the state. Okay,
let me also make a correction. The issue of those issues you raised, or the issue of all the processes involved in business, improving the business environment, is just not the responsibility of EBBC alone. I'll give you an instance. If you look at the 2025 Ease of Doing Business Assessment, we have about 22 areas that PEBEC is the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council. These are the people who are responsible for evaluating the status of business environment in all the states. They have about 22 areas they look at. We may not have all the time to look at some of them, but I'll call some of them. You look at the issue of electricity, how is it easy for you to access electricity? You look at the issue of infrastructure, all the number of infrastructure development in the state that supports business growth. You look at the issue of access to credit. Are there easy access to credit? Are there the issue of grievance redress mechanisms? The issue of digital, the access to digital platforms. The issue of land administration. The issue of tax, and so on and so forth. There are 22. We will not name all of them in this because of time. But then, what I'm saying is that if you look at, let's take land administration for instance. Is it really difficult for you to get a CFO in Ebonyi now with the digitalization? For me, the answer is no. Unlike before, when we're using the manual system, things were very difficult. If you want to do a search, is it difficult? These are the things we're looking at. And one other thing about policy improvement and the issue of policy administration is that if you have challenges, are there methodology of addressing those challenges? For instance, a major aspect of assessment has always been what we call the grievance redress mechanism. The grievance mechanism is that if you have an issue is there any place you can complain to? And I can assure you in Ebonyi, we have a platform. In fact, part of one of the executive orders that His Excellency signed is that it is mandatory for any MDA in the state to provide a platform of complaint and redress to that complaint. There is an executive order from His Excellency the Governor that made it mandatory that if EBOCAP, for instance, that should have a platform or a contact point, if it's not a complete website, there should be a hotline where if you have issues of complaint, you should be able to reach that line. Like in my agency, we do a lot of grant. And each time we are publicizing our grant, you see a lot of numbers. You know what I'm saying? If you have done an application, you have issues, call this number. If you are being paid and you have challenges in the bank, you're able to reach this number. This number should be able to tell you or collaborate with you on what to be done. The same thing with the issue of tax administrations. We're also working with the Board of Internal Revenue Service to ensure that if there are complaints, and you can agree with me that Ebonyi has even gone beyond other states, because Ebonyi is one of the states where you have a Revenue Appeal Commission. And Revenue Appeal Commission moves beyond what is obtainable in most states. What is obtainable in most states is that if you have a complaint, there is a platform within the Internal Revenue Service where you are going to lodge your complaint. But Ebonyi has gone beyond that. Even when you are not satisfied with the decisions of the Internal Revenue Service, you have to go to the Revenue Appeal Commission, currently chaired by the former Speaker of the House of Assembly. The problem is that most people may not aware these things exist. And that's exactly why this kind of forum is important, for people to know that these are efforts that are being made. Last time we were here, we talked about the small claim court. And we made people understand that if you have issues, because it's also part of the basis of assessment, if I have to ask for my money, do I need to go to a high court and hire a lawyer to ask for maybe 500,000 naira? No, we've come down to a level where there is a judicial process where you can approach a court without a lawyer, state your case, and within 3 months, these issues are handled.
All right.
So
let me just cut you there. When these beautiful outlines you have given, they sound very fine. But in specifics, Ebonyi State is an agrarian state. And when people are talking about doing business, this is a state that for now, we don't have industry that has already taken off. Now, what is your EBBC doing to encourage people in the direction, or is there government policies that directs and promotes agricultural investment at the higher level? Because what we see here is mostly hotels and filling stations, whereas is a state that is so endowed with a lot of minerals and a lot of agricultural produce. So what is the state government, what is the policy statement of the government as it has to do with agriculture and investments in those areas?
Yeah, the issue of agriculture is key. And I can agree with you that if Ebonyi must make progress, we must redirect our minds to issue of agriculture, skill development, and so on and so forth. I will tell you that I'm aware that about 3 sets of Ebonyans, 100 per set, has been sent to our neighboring state, Enugu, and undergone some level of trainings. I'm also aware that 2 sets of different councillors has also been, sent to Nasarawa, where they stayed 2 weeks in a farm to learn one kind of agricultural practice or another. That is the direction we are going. That is what we are doing. And moving from agriculture to something close to it, you are aware that on Friday we flagged off, a skill in acquisition training for 3 months at in Abakaliki. That is what this direction shows, that for the youths, Ebonyans to know that this is exactly what the government interest is. And in addition to that, most of the things we've tried to do with the youths, there's always this complaint about access to credit. I don't have the money. Some of us, regularly when we're on air, if you open a line now for people to call, one of the things calls we get now, I have a land, I don't have the money, I have this and that kind of thing. So one of the things that we are doing as a follow-up is also to ensure that if you are a genuine farmer or a genuine entrepreneur, that we make available, a kind of opportunity for you to access funds to be able to, invest in the agricultural sector. Because one thing we can take for granted as Ebonyi people is that there's nobody in any of our local government, 13 local government, who can say he doesn't have the land. If you don't have, your uncle will have. If you don't, your uncle don't have. There will definitely be one.
I don't have. Will you give me one?
I will give you one. I'll give you one. And if you also go through the Ministry of Agriculture, you know that a lot of things have been done in the Ezilo farm, especially in terms of rice production. And I know that annually, these lands are thrown open. People make applications, and allocations are made, based on capacity, where you can farm. Yes, that is true, because you can go to the Ministry of Agriculture at the end of these discussions, and you find out that so much things are done to be able to encourage, farming in rice production. So the segment of promotion of agriculture, comes with the issue of, exposing the young people to those opportunities. Like I've told you, several segments of persons who have gone to other states to, learn one agricultural practice or the other. The second one is us ensuring that there is, an alternative access to credit. If people do not have personal savings and that is being championed by my own agency, where you can link you up to the Bank of Industry, we can link you up with our own effort. If you watch some of our publications we made in a few days ago, we've told Ebonyans that we have an access of a discussion with already concluded with the Bank of Industry, where we will have about $1 billion that will be available for anybody who has genuine businesses. I repeat, who has genuine businesses that need support. Because most times when you give these opportunities, you find out that there is lack of commitment on our part. I don't want to blame anybody, but there is so much lack of commitment on our part because people find alternative where there are no alternatives, and that is politics. The dream of every young person around us is to be appointed this, to be appointed that, to be appointed that. And most times we do not also think that not even the appointment can stop the basic thing being done, because that is where I think we're getting it wrong. Nobody is against you, aspiring to be appointed anything. But even within the appointment, you can also be very useful. Appointment does not stop you from owning a farm. Appointment does not stop you from owning a skill. Appointment does not stop you from doing one other things that will support even the income you get from the earnings you get from that appointment. So it is clear that there has to be a mind shift, and that's why with these opportunities or this kind of forum is created. There has to be a mind shift, from what our people call, what our people consider important, and what is actually important, and that is practical involvement on something that grants you additional earning, either in form of agricultural production or in form of skill acquisitions and so on and so forth.
All right, thank you, sir. Sometimes when we ask you questions, when we see you, and we ask you some questions that do not directly fall under the purview of your ministry, it's because we know that you know, right? I mean, being a member of the Ease of Doing Business Council, we can afford to ask you for questions on taxes because we know you know.
Go ahead.
You know, right?
Yes.
And you said one of the things that His Excellency did was having, mandating every ministry in the state to have this thing on a complaints line.
Yes, grievance redress mechanism.
Thank you. But I do not know if all of those, if all the ministries actually do have one where people can actually complain to them, because it's one thing having a policy made. It's another thing implementing that policy. Because why I asked that is that sometimes when we get to hear about empowerment opportunities, skill opportunities, credit opportunities, we only get to see them when they already started. And I'm not saying, when I'm saying we, I'm not talking me and Laura, even though we are part of the we, but there is a larger we, right? People do not really get to know what exactly is happening. We've talked about small claims courts that so many people might not even be aware of. Some people do not even know that there is a threshold beneath which you're not allowed to actually even pay taxes. Some do not know they have to actually go to a certain place to pay taxes, which brings me to the first question that Laura asked about information. You corrected that and said it was misinformation. But when people do not have the right kind of information, they will fill it up with whatever else is available. So my question really is, Ebonyi State, the governor is committed to making businesses easier for people to invest in the state, for people to run their businesses in the state, for people to, sustain their businesses in the state. But the information is not readily available to the right people who do need this information. Some of them might not have access to television or internet. How do we carry everyone along?
Okay, let me take the instance of your small claim court, for instance. I know that we should take it for granted that every average Ebonyian should have access to the radio. And I know that I have dedicated Monday where between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock we discuss some of these issues and people ask questions. And I also know some of our colleagues. Yes, in your station. Yes, I saw the phone. Yeah, oh, thank you very much. So, and I'm also aware that most of my colleagues also are doing the same thing. That's one aspect. We also took time to move around very recently to do sensitizations across the local government. You know, bridging that communication gap and let people know exactly what is available. That is another thing. Another issue is that people who are looking for information should ask relevant questions. But we found out that people will take all the time to write all the things they write on Facebook, but they wouldn't even direct questions to the appropriate authorities. But if it is criticisms, you know they have all the information.
Those ones do not need.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that the level of government is so much arranged that people should be able to get proper information. You have a councillor in every of the wards. We have management committee members in every of the wards and development center. We have development center coordinators who are very close to the people. We have the local government. We have the state ministries. Because why I didn't want to start with state ministries is that not everybody can come for a rural area from the village and go to Ministry of Agriculture, or Ministry of Lands, or Ministry of Internal Revenue Service, or Ebonyi Small and Medium to ask questions. But you can start by holding your councillor accountable by bringing, bringing all those questions in the doorpost of your councillor.
What happens when the councillor is only interested in who is returned in 2027 and sharing fertilizers?
Yeah, and that is when we're talking about accountability. Accountability here does not imply what the public officer is interested in, but the pressure you're putting on the public officer. I made a post very recently, and I know somebody challenged me, and I said, can I engage you? There and there in the Facebook page, go and check my Facebook page. I provided my phone number. I said, if you're in Ebonyi, either take this number and reach me out, or come to the office as soon because it seems you don't understand what you're talking about, and I can make you understand better. So everybody may not be like me, but the truth is that, and that's why I don't want to take that digital platform as an answer to your question. I want to talk about the structure. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because that could become a campaign issue. If a councillor is not responsive, then the youth in that environment will know that it doesn't need to go back. So the youth themselves can begin to prepare somebody who can represent them properly. So I want to challenge youths in all the wards. There is no ward that does not have a councillor. There is no ward that may not have a minimum of 2 or 3 management committee members from the development center. These are the people that are representing government. They are collecting salary on every month. They should be able to answer some questions. They should be able to provide information or guidance for anybody who wants to know anything. So my recommendation is that our rural areas should utilize the opportunity of having their councillors, the management committee members, their coordinator, the development centers. If they cannot come to the town and go to the MD, to the ministries, they can walk into the development center and ask questions. They can go to the councillor who should naturally be resident in the community, even though most of them are not resident in the community.
Precisely yes. That, and for that, and it is based on that I'm also asking this follow-up questions, because when you talk about rights information, you can have information, but you are not able to communicate that information, which brings me to this adoption of a presumptive income tax regime, for small businesses. Now, when you talk about presumptive, what is that exactly? People don't understand. And in Ebonyi, the main problem we have in Ebonyi that everybody talks about, a woman who owns a shop says, I cannot open because the taxes are killing me. I am paying this, I am paying that, I'm paying that. So at what point, what is presumptive tax? That's number one. Who pays it? Who does not pay? What are you supposed to pay to the government, and what is government supposed to pay you or do for you? Can we have it broken down?
Yeah, I think I want to tell you, I am not a member of the board of Internal Revenue Service, but I am.
That coming from afar.
Yes, because there are certain things I wouldn't want to hold for them. That would be very embarrassing to them. You know what I'm saying? But then, as a focal person of this business, I'm competent to speak on any of these subjects. And the competence is based on the fact that I also intervene in all these areas. I reach out to the relevant MDAs, and because I coordinate most of the activities that is done to be able to address some of those issues. Currently, we are working so much to have what we call a kind of a common demand notice. Let me use the word that everybody understands. Another thing, a consolidated demand notice, where in a single demand, what we mean by demand notice is that there is always a paper the relevant tax authority will bring to you, another thing, to be able to tell you that you are supposed to pay A, B, C, D, E, F. We now have what we call a concentrated demand notice, where everything that is payable in the state, both at the local government and the state level, is consolidated in one demand notice. What it means is that the issue of double taxation, people are telling you, oh, I have paid this to Abakaliki local government. Now the Internal Revenue Service has come to collect it all. It's been eliminated completely. Because in that single demand notice, whatever is going, all the tax heads that is available at the local government and the one that is happening at the state level are consolidated into one. That is currently, applicable. Then the issue of presumptive tax. Remember that our His Excellency the Governor took a very early step when he said, "I am not interested in collecting taxes from those who are selling vegetables and tomatoes. I don't need that money." Yes, there could be money there, but he said, "I don't need it to develop the state. I'm more interested in the comfort of these persons." And yes, I know there will be a lot of reactions, but then this is a government state statement. And I can assure you that there is an executive order, communicating these decisions.
That is not being followed.
Yes, that is where we are.
Please do not forget it's not the tax board of.
I know, but he brought that as an example, and I'm just telling him based on what we know.
And it is also good that we are aware it's not being followed. Yeah. And that would lead me to the issue of policy issues and policy implementation issues. By the grace of God, I teach this at the level of postgraduate studies, and I know that you can have a very good policy, but there are issues of implementations. But implementation should not undermine the policy. The evaluation of the implementation process gives room for corrections, and that's exactly what we're doing. So it is good to learn that this is not working, and it's also part of the GRM issues we're talking about, the grievance redress mechanisms we're talking about. That the public has a right to complain. The Market Association has a right to complain. The Market Association has a right to go to the Board of Internal Revenue and say, "See, we are aware of this pronouncement of His Excellency the Governor, but in the market, A, B, C, D, E, F is happening." And you also know that a lot of things happen in Africa. Let me not just say Ebonyi. And a lot of things happen in Nigeria. There is a lot of people who parade themselves as officers of the Internal Revenue Service who may not have the mandate of the service to do what they are doing. So it provides an opportunity for us to address some of these complaints, some of those issues. So what I'm saying here is that for wherever areas is not working, that is the basis of complaint. And I've made myself available as a channel of complaint.
You made yourself available as the person that sees all of them.
Yes, and I want to assure you that
as the sacrificial lamb.
As the sacrificial lamb. And if these complaints are received, I want to assure you it will be communicated to the right source and followed up. Okay, so it's very important. So when we are looking at a presumptive tax issues, we are looking at a minimal threshold. You know what I'm saying? Where for instance, when the governor made that pronouncement, I think the Board of Internal Revenue made a limit of 5 million naira. There was a limit they placed. Number thing. So, but then what it means that if your revenue is within this level, you know what I'm saying, you are not supposed to pay taxes. That is under a little tax exemption rule of the district. And I know that there has been a circular from the board formalizing that pronouncement His Excellency has made. If the public is saying, "Oh, this thing is not being obeyed," good, that's fine. That moves us to the next step. But that does not undermine the fact that His Excellency has a good intention in making that pronouncement. And that does not invalidate that pronouncement. We look at that area of abuse, and all of us, the public, the government official, collectively will address the abuse. Let's know if it is the board that's doing the abuse or somebody is coming in, because that happens also. Sometimes we see a lot of persons in a bid to survive, take advantage of. I know that even when I give grant, a lot of people stand at the gate and tell you that we are representing the agency. You know what I'm saying? So these are things. So it is our collective responsibility to address the issues of the abuse, and that should be where we are. Okay. And that your platform should contribute the general public should contribute to complain where we think that things are not properly done.
The problem we face, sorry, I mean, before you just come in, the issue of our platform contributing, I think our platform, especially under this administration, is doing a whole lot in terms of this tax issue.
Thank you. Thank you so much for admitting that.
Yes, trying to make sure that what the governor says, as it has to do with, because our passion is for these small businesses where they say do not collect 1 naira, and the people go as far as beating up those who say I do not have this 200 naira or that 300 naira to pay. So I think our platform is doing a lot in that aspect. Now, since we're the channel of complaint, we are complaining to you that we have seen this being done, and we want those policy implementations. We need to see it, those policies being carried out, because it is not being done, and it is undermining the ease of doing business in Ebonyi, because it's from the small scale that you move to the larger scale, where people are scared that, okay, in Ebonyi, they will kill you with taxation. And so a lot is not being done by the Board of Internal Revenue to allow people. Amaka, please.
Okay, so yeah, you know, over time, whenever we bring up issues of taxation, especially when it has to do with small businesses, there is one thing that is always standing up, and that is those, I do not want to call it, okay, I can call it passing the ball. We consistently hear the people who are doing this are not authorized to do them. These ones are phonies. And if we have people who are not authorized to collect taxes in the name of government, collecting these taxes in the name of government with so much impunity. They don't do it at night, they do it in broad daylight, and yet the government keeps saying, these people are not our own. I think there is so much we do not want to go into now. But that aside, the Ebonyi state government it's currently ranked 23rd in the ease of doing business, and you're targeting top 10. What are your plans? How do you want to do this?
Okay, let me say something that may not that will shock you. If you look at,
I need to have someone behind me so that when I'm
yes. If you look at that the latest ranking, I think that's that of 2023 or 2024 that is on the public domain.
Okay.
You'll find out that it is not the very commercial states that are in the first list. In fact, virtually the first 10 is our northern states, very poor states. Gombe is number 1. I think Jigawa is number 2, Plateau, Nasarawa, and so on and so forth.
Plateau cannot be ranked as being poor.
Okay, yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that, if you are looking at commercial states in the country, you are talking about Lagos. You're talking about Kano, talking about Rivers, talking about Onisha, and so on and so forth. But you look at the ranking of ease of business, none of these states came the first 10. And I will explain to you. So that we do not focus on number. The message I want to give is that what shouldn't bother our head? It may not just be, let me be number 1. The question is that what are you doing? How practical are what are you doing? And exactly what is your policy trust? Because the issue of ranking most times comes from the policy trust. The policy trust of Lagos State may not just be the policy trust of Gombe. And the reason is because there are states who are already saturated to a certain level. There are states that are very active. Let me take Lagos for instance. There are a lot of things that Lagos celebrates or Lagos take for granted, which Gombe will be celebrating.
Sure.
Are you hearing me? Because for Lagos State, we need more money. There are so much people are coming to Lagos. We don't even need more people to come. So we use our tax system to drive them. The tax is a policy, and you use policy to be able to chart the course where you want to go. So for certain issues about number, whether you're number 1 or number 2, good. It is good to be number 1 because what you're looking at is issue of transparency of policies and so on and so forth. But there are states in this country that those things are no longer their priority because they believe that if we do what Gombe is doing, Lagos will so much be overcrowded with certain persons that we don't even need. So, but that is not to say it is not good to drive to be number 1 or number 2 or number 3. But the point here is, what does Ebonyi State want? You know what I'm saying? And we are moving towards what we want.
Okay.
And what we want is, let's take advantage of our cooperative interest. Our cooperative interest is in agriculture. You know what I'm saying? Our cooperative interest is rural development. Our cooperative interest is ensuring that these our youths who spend so much time on social media. Let me not sound, because already some of them are going for the head of my governor. Because my governor said, please, we're wasting so much time on social media, and people are taking it to another level. But the truth is that if you look at the level of activities that we see on our social media, such strength and energy should be converted to something very useful.
And that's where we're going to be pausing it.
Thank you.
Dr.
So
Steve,
that the next time we'll continue
because that's where we're going to be pausing it for today. We know that even if we allow you 10 hours, it's never enough for you to exhaust what government is doing on the ease of doing business. And it's always a pleasure having you in the house. Dr. Steve Odo, the DG EBBC and focal person on Ease of Doing Business Council in Ebonyi State. Many thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
I need to correct you because it's Dr. Steve that's been correcting me.
He said Dr. Stephen.
He said Dr. Stephen. It's not Dr. Steve. Thank you.
Dr. Stephen Odo.
Thank you so
the important
much.
is that there's the doc and the Steve.
Thank
The
you.
SCF is there. All right. Many thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for coming.
All right. We are going to be taking our last break and we'll be back with the trend and stories. Please stay with us.